Please like this video. I really need your support right now. It's the only way this story can reach more people. Thank you so much for being here with me and for your support. Natalie was standing in our hallway like she was about to walk a red carpet, not step on a treadmill. Hair curled, makeup done, tight matching gym set that looked like it cost more than my work boots. Then she hit her neck with perfume like she was trying to leave a signature on the air. I leaned on the doorframe with my keys in my hand. You're going to the gym, not to conquer a small European country. She didn't even turn around. Just checked her reflection from 3 angles like the mirror was a supervisor. What? I can't look nice? She shot back. Sure you can, I replied. It's just new. You used to hate gyms. She finally faced me and smiled like I was being cute. People change. Logan, our 10-year-old, wandered in with a bowl of cereal and one eyebrow already raised. Mom looks like she's going to fire someone. Natalie laughed, grabbed her water bottle, and kissed the top of his head. Bye, boys. The door closed. The house went quiet. And that was the first little shift. Not some big explosion, just a tiny click in the rhythm. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have treated that click like a smoke alarm instead of background noise. Because after that, it wasn't just the gym outfit. It was the phone. Natalie's phone used to be a household object. It sat on the kitchen counter. It charged on the couch arm. Logan used it to set silly filters on his face. I didn't care. I had nothing to hide, and I married a woman I trusted. Then her phone turned into a private vault. Screen down. Sound off. Face unlock. Bathroom. Phone. Shower. Phone. She wasn't scrolling weather anymore. She was guarding it. One night, I walked into the living room and caught her taking selfies. Real ones. Not, oops, bad angle. But the kind where you tilt your head, soften your smile, and touch your hair like you're auditioning for a new life. I pointed at her and smirked. If that's for LinkedIn, corporate America got weird. She jumped like I'd clapped in her ear and locked the screen too fast. That too fast wasn't proof of anything. It was just wrong. Like hearing your front door lock when you didn't touch it. At dinner, she started talking about late work things. New clients, she'd say, spearing salad like it had offended her. Brand repositioning. We're changing our messaging. Sounds serious, I'd answer. It is, she'd insist, and the line came out polished. Too ready. Like she'd rehearsed it in the car. She started coming home around 10, smiling at her phone with this private grin I hadn't earned in months. I didn't explode. I didn't accuse. I watched. I listened. I kept my voice level. One Wednesday, she walked in late and dropped her purse on the counter without looking at me. You hungry? I asked. She waved a hand. I ate with the team. Which team? Logan asked from the table, chewing like a judge. Natalie blinked. My team. Logan nodded slowly. Right. The mysterious team. Natalie's eyes narrowed at him. Don't start. He shrugged. I'm not starting. I'm noticing. I looked at my son and almost smiled. Kid had my timing. Then Derek called me. Derek's a guy I've known since high school. Divorced. Not bitter, just seasoned. He doesn't talk like a therapist. He talks like a man who learned the hard way. Hey, he said, you at home? Yeah. What's up? I saw Natalie downtown yesterday. I didn't move. Okay. With a guy. My voice stayed flat. A co-worker? Derek exhaled. Maybe. But they weren't standing like co-workers. I kept my tone calm. Define not standing like co-workers. Close. Comfortable. Like the world around them didn't exist. I stared at the garage door while the words landed. Appreciate you telling me. Just keep your eyes open, Derek added. Don't do the maybe it's nothing thing. I don't do that thing, I said. We hung up. That night, Natalie fell asleep on the couch with her phone on her chest like a pet. Around midnight, it buzzed. The screen lit up. Unknown number. I saw the message before I could talk myself out of reading it. Can't stop thinking about your lips. That wasn't a work email. That wasn't a group chat. That wasn't a wrong number. I stood there for a full minute, breathing slow, like I was balancing something heavy on my hands. Then I did something I'd never done in our marriage. I unlocked her phone. Her passcode was an old one. The kind you don't use unless you want to believe your life is still the same. The screen opened. And there it was, multiple dating apps. Not one. Several. Fresh photos. A bio that made my teeth grind. Mom. Coffee. Ready to enjoy life again. Enjoy life again. Like the last 10 years were a prison sentence. I didn't wake her up. I didn't throw the phone. I didn't pace around making speeches to the walls. I sat down at the kitchen table like I was reviewing a work order, and I read. 3 names showed up over and over. Chase, gym guy, mirror selfies, beard, tank tops, compliments about her sets and energy. Direct, dumb confidence. Graham, older, smooth, restaurant talk. You deserve to be valued. The kind of guy who knows exactly what to say to a woman who wants to feel seen. Cole, young, too young. And she was joking with him like she was playing dress up with her own identity. In case you forget, she messaged him once. I'm technically married. Technically. I put the phone back where it was. Natalie slept like a baby, like she hadn't just turned our home into a stage. In the morning, she came into the kitchen acting like she was in a cereal commercial. She made coffee, set my mug down gently. Soft voice. You okay? She asked. You look tired. I stared at her. Long week. She leaned in and kissed my cheek. I worry about you. That wasn't comfort. That was a prop. She was placing kindness on me like a sticker. See, I'm a good wife. Logan walked in and immediately sensed the air. He looked at Natalie, then me. Why are you talking like customer service? Natalie laughed too bright. Oh my God. Logan. He sat down. I'm just saying. You sound like when the school office lady tells you your kid threw up, but she's trying to be polite. Natalie's smile tightened. Eat your breakfast. I did what I always do when something goes wrong in a building. I stopped guessing and started collecting facts. First move I made. Not emotional. Practical. That same day, I opened a separate bank account and moved my paycheck there. Not to punish her. To protect my lane. I paid my half of the mortgage and utilities like always. The rest stayed under my control. That night, she noticed the change. She stood in the kitchen holding her phone, trying to look casual. Hey, did something happen with our account? Nope, I replied, rinsing a plate. Just organizing my stuff. Organizing how? I didn't look up. So my money isn't floating around while our marriage is floating around. Her eyes sharpened. Excuse me. I turned the faucet off. You heard me. Natalie crossed her arms. So now you're punishing me because you're in a mood? I gave her a flat smile. If I was in a mood, you'd know. This is me being calm. Logan, from the table, whispered like he was narrating a nature show. This is the part where the animals get quiet. Natalie shot him a look. Logan. He held up his hands. I'm eating. She turned back to me. What is this about, Mark? I didn't bite. It's about respect. And I'm not negotiating the basic version. She laughed once, sharp. So dramatic. Not dramatic, I answered. Just awake. That ended the conversation, but it opened a loop in her head. She didn't know what I knew. She only felt the temperature change. 2 days later, she got dressed for another client thing. And again, it wasn't work clothes. It was date clothes. Clean lines, hair perfect, lipstick that didn't belong on a marketing meeting. I watched her by the stairs. Which client? I asked, easy tone. She paused. Just a fraction too long. Regional. For marketing, I replied. Your legends could use better detail. Natalie's smile twitched. You've been weird lately. I've been consistent, I said. You're just not used to me paying attention. Logan walked by, backpack on, and looked her up and down. That's for work. Natalie snapped. Don't start. He stared at her. I don't have to start. You're already running. She glared at him, then grabbed her purse. I'll be late. Drive safe, I said. She left. I waited 10 minutes. Then I grabbed my keys and followed. She didn't go anywhere near her office. She drove toward the nicer part of town, the kind of area where parking is valet and the menus don't have prices because they assume you're not tacky enough to ask. She pulled up near a wine place with patio lights. A man was waiting. Graham. He looked like money that never lifted anything heavy. Jacket tailored. Hair perfect. Smile practiced. She stepped out, and he greeted her like they had history. Kiss on the cheek. Hand on her waist a second too long. They went inside laughing. That was the second loop closing in my head. She wasn't just playing online. She was living it. I drove home without drama because drama is what people do when they're out of control. I wasn't out of control. The next Saturday, she announced, I'm going to the gym for a couple hours. I didn't look up from my coffee, cardio, or emotional rebirth. Her eyes flashed. What is your problem? My problem, I replied, is you keep leaving the house dressed like you're hunting attention. I dress for me, she snapped. Sure, I said. And I buy tools because I enjoy spending money. Logan wandered in, saw her bag, saw her face. Are we doing the fake smiling thing again? Natalie frowned. Logan, stop. He looked at me. You two are weird. I stood up and grabbed my jacket. Hey, Nat. She paused at the door. What? I kept it neutral, almost lazy. Say hi to Chase. Her face froze. Not guilty. Alarmed. What are you talking about? She demanded, then forced a laugh that sounded like it hurt. You're paranoid. I nodded. If I was paranoid, I'd be checking your phone. She swallowed. You wouldn't. I shrugged. Depends on how much you push. She left fast. I waited, then followed again. She was in the gym less than an hour. Then Chase pulled up. Same vibe I'd seen in his profile. He parked like he owned the spot. She walked out smiling and got into his car. They drove to a lake trail area. I stayed back, parked where I could see without being seen. They walked side by side, too comfortable. Not coworkers. Not just friends. They sat on a bench near the water. He touched her thigh. She didn't move away. She leaned in, like she was borrowing youth from him. That was the line. Not a rumor, not an app, not a message. A real-world line. I took photos. Not to be petty. To anchor reality. Because memories get argued. Facts don't. That night she came home and went straight into family mode. Logan, you want a smoothie? She chirped. Logan squinted. Why are you acting like a cartoon, Mom? Natalie laughed. Oh my God. I watched her pour fruit, like she was pouring innocence. Then she turned to me with that soft face again. Mark, she said quietly. Can we do something together soon? Just us. There it was. First illusion. Light care, gentle tone, like she was meeting me halfway. I wiped my hands with a towel. We'll see. Her eyes softened. I miss you. I held her gaze. You miss the convenience. Don't confuse it with me. She flinched like I'd slapped the air. Logan, from the counter, whispered, Dad's in his no coupons accepted era. Natalie snapped. Logan. He sipped his smoothie. What? It's true. Later that night, when she fell asleep, I took her phone again. And I did something cold, not chaotic. I saved my number under Chase's name. Then I blocked and deleted the real Chase contact. Now, when she messaged Chase, she was messaging me. I wasn't proud of it. I also wasn't confused about why I was doing it. Natalie had turned honesty into a game. Fine. I'd end the game with a receipt. Over the next days, she texted Chase constantly. You up? I can't stop thinking about you. He's being so weird at home. I feel trapped. Can we meet? And I answered like Chase would, but with enough restraint to keep her hooked and talking. Busy today. Soon. Miss you too. She poured her complaints into the chat like it was therapy. Mark acts like he's better than everyone. He's always tired. He doesn't see me. Sometimes I forget I'm even married. There it was again. That line. Like her vows were a technical detail. I took screenshots and sent them to my attorney. Not for drama. For clean closure. A few weeks later, my attorney told me, you have enough documentation. Paperwork's ready. You can move when you want. I nodded. Good. Natalie, meanwhile, switched tactics. Second illusion came in hard. One Friday, she made my favorite dinner like it was a holiday. Put on music. Lit candles. I walked in from work and paused. What's this? She smiled big. Too big. Just us. I want to fix things. Logan looked up from the couch. This feels like when you're nice to me right before you ask to look in my backpack. Natalie laughed nervously. Logan, stop being ridiculous. He shrugged. I'm not. I'm experienced. Natalie walked to me and touched my arm. I'm serious. I've been distant. I'm sorry. I studied her face. What changed? She hesitated. I just realized how much you do. I nodded. I do a lot. She leaned in, voice sweet. Maybe we can plan a weekend. Just you and me. No work. No stress. She was trying to resecure comfort. Stabilize the home base while keeping her other life running. It wasn't love. It was resource management. I sat down. We can eat. That's it. Her smile wobbled. Why are you like this? Because you trained me, I replied calmly. You trained me to trust actions, not speeches. Logan, mouth full, added, Dad's basically a human lie detector now. Natalie shot him a look that could have curdled milk. Go to your room. Logan stood up, grabbed his plate, and walked away, muttering, Tell the truth, and you get grounded. Classic. Natalie watched him go, then turned back to me with controlled irritation. You're turning him against me. I shook my head. No. Your choices are. I'm just not covering for them. Her eyes narrowed. What are you accusing me of? I stood up and took my plate to the sink. I'm not accusing. I'm adjusting. That night, after she went to bed, Chase got another message. I need to see you. For real. I can't do this at home anymore. And that's when I set my final plan. I texted back from Chase. Tomorrow night. Lake Trail. Same spot. Her reply came fast, like she'd been waiting for permission to sprint. Oh my God. Yes. Finally. She sent heart emojis. Like a teenager. The next day, while I was at work, I texted her from my real number too. Hey, I got off early tomorrow. Let's do dinner. You and me. She didn't respond for an hour. Then, maybe. I'll see. Maybe. To her husband. But to Chase, she was a fireworks show. That evening, she came home buzzing with energy. Not because I was there. Because the lake was waiting. She walked right past me toward the bedroom, already in performance mode. I followed and leaned on the doorframe. You're dressed up, I commented. She barely glanced at me. Girls' night. Which girls? I asked. She waved a hand. Stop interrogating me. Logan appeared behind me like a little ghost of truth. You don't wear that for girls. Natalie snapped. Logan, mind your business. He tilted his head. It is my business. You're my mom. And you're acting like a stranger. That landed harder than anything I could have said. For a second, Natalie's face flickered. Almost shame, almost. Then she grabbed her purse. I'll be late. I nodded once. Okay. She paused like she expected a fight. When she didn't get one, she looked annoyed. She left. I waited. I drank one beer in my kitchen, not to cope, just because my brain needed a small ritual before I ended something big. I grabbed the folder from my bag. Keys. Phone. Calm. And I drove to the lake. Her car was there, parked crooked like she'd rushed. She was sitting alone on a bench facing the water, still as a statue, checking her phone every few seconds. Waiting for Chase. I parked a short distance away and walked up behind her. I came close, quiet, and covered her eyes with my hands. Guess who? I asked, changing my voice just slightly. She laughed, bright and soft, the kind of laugh I hadn't heard from me in a long time. She pulled my hands away and turned with that smile already loaded. Then it died. Her face went flat, like a kid who opened a gift and found socks. What are you doing here? She asked sharp. I sat down beside her like I belonged there. Enjoying the view. She looked around, tense. My friends are coming. I nodded. Cool. I'll say hi. Natalie stared at me like I'd tracked mud onto her clean fantasy. You're making this weird. I shrugged. You've been doing weird for months. I'm just catching up. She grabbed her phone and started typing fast. I watched her thumbs move. My phone buzzed in my pocket. From Natalie. Chase, don't come. My husband is here. I'll text when he leaves. I let the silence sit between us for a few seconds. Then I said, he running late? Natalie's head snapped toward me. What? I smiled. Not cruel. Just done. Chase. He running late. Her mouth opened, closed. Why are you saying that name? I pulled my phone out and held it up. Because my pocket just got a message from you, Tim. Her eyes went wide. That's not. I cut her off. Calm as a man reading a manual. I know about the apps. I know about the texts. I know about the wine place. I know about the bench thing with his hand on your leg. Natalie shot up from the bench. You followed me. I observed. I corrected. There's a difference. Her voice rose. You invaded my privacy. I stayed seated. You moved your life into a private little box and expected me to clap for it. No. She paced 2 steps, then turned back, voice trembling with anger more than fear. This is insane. You're insane. I nodded slowly. If I was insane, I'd be yelling. I'd be begging. I'd be bargaining. She leaned forward. So what, you tricked me? You pretended to be him. I replaced a liar's mirror with a window, I replied. Now you get to see yourself clearly. Natalie's hands shook as she held her phone. Give me my phone. Now. I stood up, finally. No. She laughed, sharp and panicked. You can't do this. I opened the folder and handed it to her. She stared at it like it was a dead animal. What is this? Paperwork, I said. For the next chapter. Her eyes scanned the first page. Then she looked up, voice breaking into rage. You're trying to ruin my life. I tilted my head. No, Natalie. I'm stopping you from ruining mine. She stepped closer, lower voice, trying a new angle. Mark, we can fix this. You're overreacting. I stared at her. Overreacting would be me pretending you tripped into 3 different men's messages by accident. She swallowed. I was lonely. I nodded. Then you should have said that to your husband, not to strangers. She snapped. You weren't there. I laughed once. Quick. I was there. You just didn't want there. You wanted new. Her face shifted again, trying softness, trying tears. Think about Logan. I replied. That's why I'm not letting him grow up thinking a man should accept being treated like furniture. Natalie's jaw tightened. So that's it. You're just leaving. I stepped back toward my car. No. I'm finishing. She followed, voice rising again. You can't just, Mark. You don't get to decide everything. I opened my door and looked at her one last time. I'm not deciding everything, I said. I'm deciding my access. You lost it. Her eyes flashed. You're going to regret this. I nodded. Maybe, but I won't be confused. I got in, started the engine, drove away while she stood there holding the folder like it was heavier than it was. That night, I didn't sleep in our house. Not because I was afraid, because I don't do messy goodbyes. I'd already said what mattered. I went to Derek's place. He opened the door in sweatpants, took one look at my face, and stepped aside. Guest room's ready. No questions. Appreciated, I replied. He handed me a towel. You hungry? No. He nodded. Good. You're not here to be comforted. You're here to reset. Exactly. Over the next weeks, Natalie's messages came in waves. Anger, sweetness, blame, bargaining, silence, then anger again. I didn't argue. I didn't debate my decision like it was up for vote. I kept communication about Logan clean and short. When she tried to pull me into emotion, I didn't take the bait. You're really doing this? She texted. I replied once. Yes. You're cold. I answered. I'm clear. Logan handled it better than most adults. One evening, he sat with me at Derek's kitchen table doing homework. He didn't look up. Mom's being weird. I kept my voice even. She's adjusting. He scribbled a math problem. Is she mad because she got caught? I paused. She's mad because she lost control. Logan nodded like that made perfect sense. Yeah, that tracks. After everything finalized, I moved back into my house. The place felt lighter. Not happier instantly, just quieter, like a machine finally stopped rattling. Months passed. Work stayed steady. I got promoted into a better route. More responsibility, more money. I started lifting again, not to compete with anyone, just because my body needed structure. I spent weekends with friends I'd ignored while trying to keep peace at home. And I started dating. Not chasing, not begging, not trying to replace Natalie. Just meeting grown women who spoke straight and didn't treat commitment like a hobby. One of them, a nurse named Erin, laughed the first time she saw my plain, no-nonsense house. This is very adult, she said. I smirked. Yeah, I'm not decorating for strangers. She grinned. Good. Logan met her later, and his review was simple. She doesn't do fake smiling, he said. High praise, I replied. As for Natalie, I heard through mutual friends that her new life didn't turn into a fairy tale. The men who love a secret don't love responsibility. She ended up moving back closer to her parents, downsizing her world after trying to upscale it. I didn't celebrate her downfall. I just noted it like a fact on a clipboard. Actions have weight. Reality collects its bill. One night, months later, Logan and I sat on my back patio eating burgers. He looked at me and said, So you're not sad anymore? I took a bite, chewed, swallowed. I'm not confused anymore. He nodded. Confused was annoying. I laughed. Yeah, it was. He stared out at the yard, then said, Mom still acts like you're the bad guy sometimes. I wiped my hands. People say whatever helps them sleep. Logan looked at me, serious. You didn't yell. No. You didn't beg. No. You just changed everything. I leaned back in my chair. That's what men do when respect is gone. We don't chase noise. We move our life. Logan nodded like he was filing that lesson away for the future. Then he smirked, because he's still 10 and sarcasm is his love language. So basically, he said, you took away her membership to Dad's attention. I pointed at him. Exactly. He grinned. Good. Because the benefits were terrible. And that was it. No dramatic scene. No grand speech. Just a clean ending. I didn't win her back. I didn't try. I won my peace back. And that's a better deal.